We have breaking news coming into CBS Sports HQ in fantasy football today. The Saints are going to be without Taysom Hill in Monday night's game against the Miami Dolphins. He has been placed on the reserve COVID-19 list. They will not be turning to Trevor Siemian, who's also on the reserve COVID-19 list. Ian Book, rookie quarterback out of Notre Dame, will be starting against the Miami Dolphins. So let's start right there. Taysom Hill not going to be there, so fantasy managers are going to have to find a different quarterback. I'll give you the homework assignment. Start thinking of some guys that could be replacement options. But just in terms of the Saints offense now, is it going to be Alvin Kamara, and more Alvin Kamara, Mark Ingram a little bit worked in?
Yeah, I got to put him in there a little bit,
and then
too.
Just give me the breakdown of this the Saints offense now without Taysom under center.
I'll tell you what, I know that Taysom Hill had a good game passing 2 games ago, but Ian Book might be a better passer than Taysom Hill, and he's a mobile quarterback. He's obviously just not as experienced as Taysom Hill, and someone that I don't think fantasy managers can trust, and I don't know if there's necessarily anybody in the passing game that you're going to want to go with. I know Marquez Callaway was an exciting option just because of what he did last week, but I think he'll give them the smallest possible semblance of a passing game. But the thing that I'm worried about with Ian Book is that he always struggled under pressure in college, and I was saying it on a Dolphins defense. Remember what they did to Lamar Jackson earlier this year? They're going to do the exact same thing here. I would imagine it's going to be tough sledding for everybody in the New Orleans offense, and I would downgrade Alvin Kamara.
Yeah, replacement options. There's a bunch of them. Like Tyler Huntley's still widely available. If Lamar Jackson doesn't play, you play Tyler Huntley over Taysom Hill. You were doing that. You should have been doing that anyway.
Yes.
I actually kind of like Matt Ryan against the Lions, but also you've got Justin Fields, you've got Ben Roethlisberger, you've got Jared Goff. If he's able to get off the COVID list against Atlanta, would be a fantastic option. So there are a lot of options. What I'd like to do, seeing that Goff is 16% rostered or 20% rostered where he's at, go add Goff, put him on your IR spot, then go add somebody else.
Very fair point. Yep. And again, desperation play for 2 quarterback leagues and super flex leagues. Ian Book. So like Dave said, maybe there's an opportunity for him to come in and have some success. We talk a lot about not necessarily on the show, but like our podcast, for example, DSTs. Dolphins DST. Where do they rank right now?
They've got to be top 5 with Ian Book under center, making his first NFL start. I think it's absolutely where they belong.
Yeah, I think I had him 9 when Taysom Hill was starting, and that was a pretty bad setup for a defense because of how much the Saints ran. I don't know what the Saints will be able to do offensively if the Dolphins, like you talked about, just use that all-out blitz 50% of the time and drop out of it 50% of the time. That could be miserable for the Saints.
They're already one of the most aggressive defenses in the league. They've got the highest pass rush pressure rate on the year. They've got the highest sack rate on the year. They play a ton of man coverage. It's exactly what they're going to do against Ian Book. They're going to dare Ian Book to beat them.
Let's have more of an Alvin Kamara conversation because you're downgrading Kamara. Nobody's benching him. I can't.
I don't think you can unless
I can't imagine a scenario where people are benching him. Now you could say, okay, Ronald Jones in a better spot because of his opportunity with Leonard Fournette not playing. You can maybe say Justin Jackson if Austin Eckler does not clear the COVID-19 protocols. But how far are we going to drop Alvin Kamara? Because he was a top 5 guy for me coming in. I would imagine top 10 at least for everybody else. Where's the downgrade fall?
I probably, like Jones is probably it. I don't think I'm going to start Justin Jackson over Alvin Kamara. So he'll be just outside of my top 12, I would say. Jones is going to be sliding just barely into my top 12. It's risky, but it's kind of like, you can't play a fantasy matchup with Alvin Kamara on your bench, especially knowing he's going to get 20 touches now probably.
I think he's going to get 20 touches, but I think he'll be pretty ineffective doing it. And I know that this might be a chance for him to get a little bit more in the passing game from Ian Book compared to Taysom Hill. My next question
was that we typically hate Kamara with Taysom because of the lack of passing that goes in his direction.
It should be a little bit more. I've got to do the research to see just how much Ian Book targeted his running backs at Notre Dame, but I think it's going to be.
Yeah, this is Sean Payton. This is all on Sean Payton,
sure,
what he's going to do.
But
Taysom's going to run.
Ian Book can run. He just doesn't do as much as Taysom Hill. So I think there's optimism here, and I think that keeps him close to the top 12 range in full PPR. I would start him ahead of Justin Jackson, Ezekiel Elliott, that type of number 2 running back. But in non-PPR, I'd be a little concerned. I don't know if he can score.
Potential here.
Maybe, but
it's also Saints in prime time. That place is crazy. Dolphins.
That defense is going to need to play. This could be a game that looks a lot like last week for New Orleans.
Yep, get ready for 9-0. Okay, so there we go. Should be a lot of fun. In any event, you're starting Alvin Kamara. Don't start Taysom Hill. Clearly, he's not going to play for the Saints. And go look at some of these replacement options. Tyler Huntley, their first option to go. We'll find out if Lamar Jackson practiced on Thursday, did not practice on Wednesday.
Do you want a sports network that delivers everything that matters about the game? The highlights, the picks, the instant analysis. No yelling, no fake debates, no politics. Hit the subscribe button and never miss a moment.